open away. Believe.
Morning, everybody. It is a new week. The week I thought I was going to take off, uh, didn't. I didn't bother trying to do that. Um, I am still a little bit vocally off from being the flu that I guess I got because I'm a big old sinner. Um, so, but I'm feeling a metric ton better today. I was out of it Friday. I was out of it most of Saturday. Um, but Friday was the worst of it. Friday was horrible. I never want to experience that again. And then Saturday morning, I got up feeling a little bit better. And you know what I do? Unfortunately, this is me, and it's a flaw. I started feeling better Saturday morning, and I took my ignorant behind and I went and did the lawn and weed whacked and all that stuff. And then I got done, partially done, came back inside, and I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done out again. So that won't happen twice. I learned my lesson. Um, but I do I do want to tackle a couple of housekeeping things before we get into the topic today. Um, Mostly because the topic itself is not going to be that long, because it's pretty straightforward. It really is. Although my take on things might be a little bit upsetting to some, and I understand that, and it's okay. But until you can disprove that to me biblically, you can remain upset. Um, so there was this incident over the weekend when I posted my video about um, this event that happened and an update and stuff about my health, and then this one individual decided to chime in, um, because I think she might have felt left out or something. I don't know. Um, but she decided to chime in on something, and the statement she made was so crazy, so crazy to me that I couldn't understand necessarily what she was really trying to get at. But if you remember her, she was here some time ago, and we had issues with her in the chat, and it was her having problems with, um, if I remember correctly, the song, and she also had problems with the spirit talk, and anyway, she had a whole bunch of issues, and none of it really made any sense, really. But in her mind, it apparently made tons of sense, and she had all reason to say what she had to say, and she thought that I deleted her messages off of Facebook. I didn't delete anything off of Facebook or off of YouTube. Um, but if you say something sideways on YouTube and YouTube decides to take you down, that's not my fault. I didn't touch your comment. Um, and and obviously now you're still here. You can always leave, Melanie. No one asks you to be here. I don't know why you keep coming back. You keep saying I'm Satan's child and all this nonsense. Then why you around Satan's child? Why you coming to talk or listen to Satan's child? Why you here? Just go away. Ain't nobody want you here. Literally nobody wants you here. Like, ain't nobody begging for Melanie Ho to come and have a conversation. Like, nobody. Like, nobody wants you here. Like, you are divisive. Like, to the nth degree, you are divisive. Ignorant at the hilt. And I went through a couple of things on your page. You seem to follow some interesting people on your YouTube. Like some quite demonic things you follow on YouTube. And I'm concerned about that. But you know what? That's your journey. You do you. You do you. But ain't nobody asking you to be here. But I will be talking about you because you chimed in your 2 cents. You gave your moronic 2 cents, and no one really cares about your moronic 2 cents. But you still seem to want to put your 2 cents in where it's not wanted. No one asked for it. No one wants it. No one included you. No one tagged you. But you still feel the need to say stuff. I don't get that. That's what you call an uninvited pest. And I don't have the kind of material that it would take to neutralize the kind of infestation you are. I don't understand it. So if you don't like what's happening here and you think I'm a child of Satan, please excuse yourself from the room and leave. It is that simple. You don't need to be around Satan. I don't want you around Satan. I don't want you coming to talk to somebody who's blatantly following Satan. That's what you said. I'm a child of Satan. Those were your words. So if I'm a child of Satan, why are you here hanging out with the children of Satan? That's the greatest question I have for you. Why are you hanging out with the children of Satan? I don't understand it. You must love Satan too. That's what you said. I'm not saying that. You said I was Satan. Your words, you typed out that I am a child of Satan. That's what you said. So if I'm a child of Satan, why are you here amongst the children of Satan? Doesn't the book tell you to avoid the very appearance of evil and to have no fellowship with the dark? So if I'm the child of Satan and it's the dark, why are you having fellowship with them? I don't understand that. That seems kind of odd. But hey, if you want to hang around Satan, you hang around Satan all you want. Hang around Satan all you want. Okay? Hang around Satan. But I wanted to address that because it's been floating around that this clown thinks that I've deleted comments and all that stuff. You know, I hope you didn't block her, Chris. Please tell me you did not block her. I never said to block her. Tell me you did not jump the gun and blocked her. Okay, good. Good. As long as nobody blocked her. I give people. Did you block her? Linda, did you block her? Ah, Linda. Linda. Don't jump the gun. Please don't jump the gun, y'all. I will tell you when. I will tell you when. But do not jump. I will say, take care of that for me, or I will do it myself. But do not just block. Okay? Do not. Thank you. That'd be great. I'm going to undo that real quick. You see, what happens is this. This is what happens. I don't want them to come back and say, you know, it's you did it because you didn't want to hear. I asked them politely to leave. And so you see, when I do make an entire show about her, it'll be on her because she decides to stay around, which I will be doing, by the way. I will be going through her entire Facebook page. I'll be going through her entire YouTube page, and I will show you exactly the kind of person that calls me Satan and what exactly they put on their page and who they follow. Because it's all out there. So just understand that's coming on Friday. We're supposed to expose the deeds of darkness, and she's one of the deeds of darkness. So I will be tackling her on Friday. Don't worry about that, people. So don't block her. I want her to keep putting content out there for Friday. The more she says, the more things I have to bring up about the things about her. So please don't block her. Don't block her. I'm taking screenshots like 40 going north. Every time she talks, I'm taking a screenshot every time. So don't block her. Now, we are going to discuss this idea of blasphemy. Okay? Blasphemy. At least that's what people are saying this event that took place at the Olympics is. The twist on this I'm going to give you is a moment for us to try and figure out, do we have a biased line about what we consider heretical? Because I think innately we kind of do. Because when I posted the picture on Facebook of the event, I saw some interesting comments being put up there, but all of them aimed at the Olympics picture. They were all aimed at the Olympics picture. And something about that gave me pause, because I don't think that we're understanding that even that one that they have of this painting of supposedly uh, the Last Supper has been and was made as a graven image. People have been worshiping that painting. And that is just as blasphemous as the idolatry that took place at the Olympics. Because we were told to not. Don't do it, and don't hold it in high regard. Don't worship it. But yet still you see in quite a few churches, they have this image of white or black or Hispanic, whatever kind of Jesus you want to put him as. They put them up in the middle of a congregation or all around the wall, and they will tell you that that is Jesus. And that in and of itself, I'm sorry to tell you, is just as bad, because the intent behind it is a deviation from worship of God. It is idol worship. Now, did the people that do the whole, the imagery that they did at the Olympics, yes, it was blasphemous, because they knew exactly who they were mocking. Okay, they were doing it mockingly, while the other side does it worshiping. Both are completely forbidden by God. But both are completely forbidden by God. Explicitly. Explicitly. So we're gonna take a look at this real quick, okay? Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Now, when looking at that word graven, it's not just about carving or anything like that. It's about carving for the purpose of, creating for the purpose of worship. Worship outside of what you should be worshiping, which is God alone. And since no one has seen him, you shouldn't be trying to make an image of him anyway, even of angels. And this is why I also don't do the whole Christmas thing with the angel on top of a Christmas tree. I'm not touching that stuff again, ever. But I think a lot of us as believers, we take these things as though, well, that's different. It's in the Christian realm, and we are just worshiping God, but we're just using these images as something we could see. That would be true if you didn't get upset when people so-called desecrated certain things. Hear me out. I have seen tons of people, believers, who get mad at somebody erecting a cross and pouring something on it. Now, hear me out. Do I understand what they're trying to say? Yes, they despise the cross and the idea of the cross. But you're getting mad at the fact that they're doing it to an image is just as bad, don't you think? It's a piece of wood. Besides that, it's not the actual cross, and Jesus ain't there. So why are you getting upset to the point where you're upset at the act itself and not the reasoning behind the act alone? We put way too much emphasis on things. And we have become, whether we believe it or not, we become a generation of people who try to make something, not call it an idol, but treat it as such without calling it worship. It's what we've been doing. Anything that takes your attention away from actually worshiping God and making it the emphasis is an idol. And that could go to anything, including and up to the so-called pastor. They have become gods. So I think before we even tackle what they did in Paris, we should probably look internally, because it should start at the house, and see exactly if we have been doing the same thing under the guise of we love God. They're doing it brazenly knowing they hate God. We do it saying that we love God while at the same time disobeying. So let me ask, which one is worse? The one where people are ignorant to God's love and mock him, or those who have been privy to God's love and mock him? Which one's worse? Which one is worse? We have become way too lax because we want tangible. We want to be able to say, this is this and this is that, but it's not that way. You're not going to find that in the real. You're going to only find that in the spiritual. You cannot find that in the tangible things of earth. There are people that go so far as to worship, trees and nature. We covered a lady like that, worshiping nature because, oh, this is where God is. But you're not worshiping God. You're worshiping nature by saying it's of God. You could appreciate nature because God created it, but still worship God. People worship things because God made it. That's still idol worship because it's taken the place of God. That's what it's done. And we've let that slide a lot. We've let that slide. So we're going to take a look at the video. And I'm going to point out a couple of things. And y'all can decide if this makes any sense, okay? What I'm going to say. I'm going to point out a couple of things. Okay. Sorry that it's a very small video, but it was on X and they've taken it down just about everywhere else. Apparently, they've deleted their video off their main page because they don't want, then they talk about they're sorry, they didn't mean to offend anybody. Miss me with that. The entirety of all that you did was purposeful. It was purposeful. Okay. We ain't trying to listen to the lie about you didn't mean to, and you meant to. Okay, you meant to. Costumes? Now everybody knows that they did exactly what they did on purpose. This is by design. They know exactly what they were doing. Okay, so let's deal with it this way. There are two different reasonings behind what we saw. In their minds, they do believe that the Last Supper painting denotes something Christian. Okay, they know it denotes something Christian, and they know it denotes something of God. This is what they know because of what it's been told to represent. This is where the ignorance of them not knowing God comes in, okay? Because they don't have the advantage of, at least I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, that they don't have the advantage of knowing the scripture that says, don't worship that particular. They're thinking of it as, oh, Christians love that and that's of God, so we need to mock it. So on their end, yes, 100%, it's a mocking of God. Truly, it is. It is a mocking of God. So they knew that. So on that standard, yeah, blasphemy, get it. But a lot of Christians who point it out that is blasphemous are of the same kind that look at the painting that they're mocking as okay. because in their minds, it wasn't made to mock Jesus. Did you know that the whole idea of worshiping something or mocking something has nothing to do with whether or not you revere it or not? Okay, let's look at it this way. They made the painting. Now, the painting itself is obviously skewed a certain way. If we were to make it even historical, it would look different, right? Good. But they did it in a certain way to represent another person, not God, by the way, and not Jesus. It was another man. The person that they put as Jesus in the center of that thing was fashioned after another man, not after what they knew historically about Jesus. Let's get that point right first. So, right off the top, they have replaced the person that you should be, even if he was allowing you to worship something or to make an image of him to worship. If he allowed that, that'd be one thing. But you didn't even try to make the image look anything like Jesus. So, right off the top, it's blasphemous. Secondarily, he told you specifically not to, and they still did. And now it's in almost every church, as though it is part of who he was. That is blasphemous. So neither one of those things, the things that they did in Paris or the things throughout church, neither one of them are good. They're both blasphemous, except that one is seen as holy and good because the reasons behind it is different. But is it really different? Is the reason behind it different? Okay, let me ask you this. Why paint it? Is it in the scripture still? Yes. Can your mind do a whole lot of imagination? Yeah. Should your mind run rampant as to what they look like, or should you be looking at what took place at the Last Supper? What was the purpose of it? What was Jesus trying to say? Is that what we should be taking from it versus, I wonder how they sat at the table. I wonder how all of this looked. Because we do get caught up in this. We want to see. I just know that I don't need to see. Did he say anything about that? Let's ask that question real quick. Did God say anything about seeing? Did he say anything about that? What did he say? Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. Because I think it's vital. If I remember correctly, there was an individual that Jesus, after he had died and rose again, he came to show up with the disciples were there, right? And there was some crazy information that took place, right? Okay, so let's go to this particular passage real quick, and I want to see something, or want you to see something that will and should have dispelled everything that has to do with images of Jesus and images of angels and all that stuff, as we need to have those around. Here we go. This, of course, is in John 20. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut where the disciples were assembled, for fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood in the midst and said to them, "Peace be with you." When he had said this, he showed them his hands and his side, and the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. So Jesus said to them again, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, I also send you." And when he had said this, he breathed on them, and he said to them, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven you. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained." Now Thomas, called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. The disciples therefore said to him, "We have seen the Lord." So he said to them, "Unless I have seen in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger in the print of the nails, and put my hand in his side, I will not believe." Now, quick question. Did any of that take place with the disciples that Jesus saw? Did any of them put their hands or need to? Did any of them touch his side? Anything like that? No. Thomas had to. After 8 days, his disciples were again inside, and Thomas with them. Jesus came, the doors were shut, and stood in the midst and said, "Peace be with you." And then he said to Thomas, "Reach your finger here and look at my hands, and reach your hands here and put them into my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believing." And Thomas answered and said, "My Lord, my God." Jesus said, "Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." We have become a whole bunch of Thomases. But instead of actually having access to Jesus showing up in person, we've created avenues to say, this is him. And in fact, I would say we have gone so far that we have actually created a whole different genre of idol worship. Want proof? We worship gifts more than we do Jesus. We worship gifts. We worship the gifts of the Holy Spirit. If you don't have that, you don't have this. The only way you can prove it is if you have this. We have put everything in act as a thing above the person. We take his gifts to have more meaning than his presence. We want all the blessings. We have now created ourselves a culture that worships the blessing as opposed to the person. Because that's what we hunt. We hunt the blessing. We hunt the perks. Everywhere you look now, it seems, in modern churches, what do you find? You find people talking about all the things you can get. Not in spite of, you get them. And in fact, that's his entire purpose, is to give that to you. So now you no longer have to worship God for who he is. You worship God for what he can give you, which is what? That's not worshiping him. So if it's not worshiping him, what is it? I'll let you fill in the blank as to what that is. You're not worshiping God for who he is. You are worshiping the gifts and the hopes and the wants and what you can blessings. And so what is that? That's idol worship. Because you don't have God as your God. You have the perks of God as your God. And then you'll attribute things that have nothing to do with God as God because you're looking for perks. So say you get up one morning and your boss calls you and you get a raise. Oh my, God showed up. Thank you, God. Or you get up in the morning and you get fired. Why, God? What? Every morning you get up is just thank you, God. It's because of who he is, not because of what you get. The instant you take it off of him, you have now become somebody that's not worshiping him. You worship something else. But all of these people are having an absolute fit and conniption over what they did in Paris. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But do you expect anything different of the world? Let me just ask that blunt. Do you expect anything different from the world? Do we really expect them to have reverence for God if they don't know him? If they hate him? The only reason we should have anything to say about it is to prove to people that God exists. Why? Because they wouldn't need to mock something that's not real. They would never go out of their way this much to mock something if it weren't real. If innately they didn't know it was true. But you have to understand that they genuinely, they know, they know, innately they know. But we can't expect anything different from them. That's who they are. They are following suit based on their father. They can't help it. It is not like we can stop them from doing it either. We can't. We can't stop them. And in fact, in a lot of ways, and this might sound weird, in a lot of ways, it's a good thing. Why is it a good thing? As I said before, it's proof that he exists, right? Otherwise, you'd be an absolute madman to think that you're going to mock something that's not real. You'd be insane. But it's a good thing because they keep bearing witness to God even in their stupidity. The same way Sodom and Gomorrah bore out God's wrath and proof that he exists, and even to this day, proof that God's there. Because if you go to where the location of Sodom and Gomorrah was, you can still find sulfur balls hanging around. The coincidence, of course, right? Yes. The entire walk that we have is a bearing out of our God's work, but not to drive people to worship his works, but to worship him. Because trust me, his works are not always to our benefit in this world physically, but they're always to our benefit spiritually. Always. Always. That is what he meant by working out to our good. Everybody takes that to mean what? Oh, things will work out for me in the end. Is that what it said? I don't recall that's what it said. But that's what we read. That's what we read. We love to read that, though. But is that what it says? Let's read it and find out exactly what it says. Because I think too many of us will read with a social mindset. What do I mean by that? You'll read it, and we don't realize we're reading with a social bias. We do read with a social bias because we always think anytime we hear the good for the good, we think, oh, I can get. Or things will work out for the positive, good, positive. That's what we read. But is that what it means? So let's go through Romans 8. And we will start at, we'll start before 28, because if you start, at 28, that's what you'll get is just that verse. But we'll start before 28. In fact, we're going to go to, let's go to 12. We'll start at 12. Okay? Let's go to 12. Therefore, brethren, let's go there. We are debtors not to the flesh to live after the flesh, for if you live after the flesh, you will die. But if you live through the spirit, but if ye through the spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are sons of God. For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are children of God, and if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ, if so be that we suffer with him. You see how we like to get the co-heirs part? We love that co-heirs part, and we love the joint with God, and we love the heirs of God part, but we know we leave out? We love leaving out this suffer portion. We love leaving out the whole suffering section of it, because then we say, oh, Jesus already bore my suffering. we love that we may also be glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory which shall be revealed in us. Now notice he didn't say we didn't suffer. He's well aware of the suffering. In fact, Paul himself has also bragged about the suffering he has been through because he knows what the suffering yields. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who had subjected it to the same, the same in hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and travails in pain together until now. And not only they, but also which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? But all throughout today and our current culture is about what? What is our current culture always about? What we see, we get. We all about that. We are all about what we get, seeing, tangible. We love that. And that's how we equate our good from God. The health and wealth gospel people, you're going to get a car, you're going to have $1 million, you're going to have, you. It's all about you. It's hardly about God, if at all. But if we hope for that we do not see, then do we with patience wait for it. Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth in our infirmities. For we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself makes intercession for us with groanings that cannot be uttered. And he that searcheth the heart knoweth what is in the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of God. And we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Now, is that saying that you will get everything you want because it's good for you? No. It says just before it, and he that searched the heart knows what the mind of the Spirit is, because he makes intercession for the saints according to the will of God. According to the will of God. Which tells me right off the top, you don't get to dictate what you consider good. And we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God. And if you love God, then you will accept his will, to them who are called according to his purpose, not yours. If it's his will and his purpose, why are we interjecting our wants in this? And better yet, why are we putting our idea of good on God? It'll work out for my good. What is your good? Usually our good is I'll get this. Is that for your good? That's all you're gonna see? It is anything that good happens to you, that's your good? Really? Hmm. So if it be his will that you go through some trials, pressure, if it be his will, it's not for your good anymore? Didn't James say consider it pure joy when you face trials? Trials of various kinds, because we know it's working out what? But so it's not good when you go through. So it's only you only need good things to happen to you. But even though it tells you that the bad things are actually good for, so which is it? Which is it? Hmm? For as much as we hate what they did at the Olympic Games, I think we need to turn the magnifying lens inwardly. I think we need to turn the magnifying lens inwardly on the thing we call the church. And I'm not talking just about the the Catholic region of it that started this whole um, paintings and all that. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about the reasons behind it. Ignore all the stuff that we have of statues and carvings and all. Ignore all that for now. What is the purpose of it? Why do them? Why have it? Why? Let's take, for instance, my hat. Okay, let's start. Like we say, start in the house. This is a cross, right? With the word faith. What is the purpose of my hat? What is the purpose that they made the hat for? Is it so that I worship the hat? Do I need to hold a hat in high regard because it says faith on it? Do I need to do that with anything? T-shirts, pulpits? Why do we have a cross behind the preacher sometimes on it? What's the purpose of it? You see, because all this time that we've been putting emphasis on the world doing what they do, we are yet to shine the light on us. Now, I know the reason I have a hat because it's a nice hat. I just like the hat. It was a gift. It's faith and the cross. I don't worship either one. Love the idea of what the cross represents. Love it because it's the gateway through which I must pass for salvation. But the person that saved me is who I worship. The cross was his tool. The cross was his tool. And it will be forever his tool and gateway to get our souls saved, indeed. But his actions on that cross is what saved me. The cross was merely the vehicle. So I don't worship the cross. I worship the person on the cross because of what he did on the cross. So I'm not using the cross as some sort of an idol or representation of who he is. But when you look at things like that Last Supper or even the Pietà, a lot of the people that made it worship it as though it is a full-on representation of God. I have seen people have a statue of Mary. They have no idea what Mary looked like, but they know a statue of Mary, and they will go and kiss the feet. I have seen people walk up to a cross with a person that they say is Jesus on there, and they will go and kiss the feet of this thing. And they honestly believe they're connecting with God. That's idol worship. You are putting the image before him. But we don't ever hear outrage. We don't hear anybody get mad at that. In fact, it's overlooked. It's overlooked. It's considered okay because we say, oh, it's of God. But is it? Is it of God? Or you've just attributed it as that, and so you just run with it. Hmm? I think we just run with it. I think we just decide to run with it. And so what we end up running with is the same thing that the world runs with, but for different reason. We run with it for a different reason. Because we honestly believe that we are the ones that have the truth when we're actually not at all following the truth. I would like to know where that is. Please point me to what scripture says that the Spirit of truth says that the cross is a cursed object. I would love to see where that is. Please show me to the verse that dictates that the Spirit of truth says that the cross is a cursed object. I just need the verse where in the book it says that. Just needing to know for my own information, because I haven't seen it. So if you can please tell me, direct me to where, that would be amazing, Shady. So please tell me. I would love to see it. And that question is for Shady, not for clowns. Okay, the question is for Shady and Shady alone. Shady is the one that said it, so I'm asking Shady. I'm not asking the fools in the audience or the clowns in the audience. I'm asking Shady. Okay, that'd be great. So in a lot of ways, this thing in Brazil is expected. The same way that you see them, or Paris, the same way you see them in Brazil doing, yeah, you're a clown now. I'm glad you can at least listen. You remember that they had this whole Satan-looking character in the streets, and it was this massive float. Y'all remember that one? And then the next day, floods. That was the funniest part of it. However, but they weren't mocking anything. They were celebrating Satan, right? Okay. So now, do we expect that? Is that we were happy to say God struck him there, blah blah blah, and then the next day with this Olympic thing, everything goes dark except for this big church, and we say God did that. Did he though? How exactly do you know God turned off all the lights? And if he did, why would he highlight a Catholic church? Just a question. Why would he highlight a Catholic church? I hear you, but I'm saying, what verse did you get that whole idea that you said from? If you can direct me in the book to where you got that from. That's all I want to know, is where you read it. Please. That's all I want to know, where you read it. I want to have it in front of me tangibly, if that's okay. Not I'm saying it's not there. I'm asking you where it is. Okay? That's all I want to know, just where it is. That'd be great. Now remember, you said that the cross is the curse. That's what you said. So I'm pretty sure that it never says that the cross is the curse. So if you can tell me where, that'd be great. I would love to find it. So you don't read the Bible, is what you're saying? I'm not saying, I'm not dogging you either way. I'm just asking if I'm just supposed to take your word that that's what it is. Is that what you're telling me? Just supposed to take your word. Okay. Well, that's your answer. Then that's your answer. I guess that's all I have to go on. That's all. So the written word has been, I didn't ask you that. I just asked you where in the book it says it. I don't know how else you would know. So that's it. Then we're done. I'm glad you don't have an answer for me. That's all I was wondering. I wonder how you even knew about his name then, if it's not in any books. It's kind of weird, but hey, again, I didn't ask stupid people for the answer. I asked Shady. That's all. Not stupid people, Shady. And Shady doesn't have an answer. So that is where I'm going to leave Shady to her own devices. I'm not, if that's what you believe, then that's what you believe. Okay, that's okay. Endure that one. But I think many of us have to start understanding that the world is going to keep, this is what they do. This is what they do. The world will continually do this because they are against God. Okay. We understand right off the top that the world hates God. We can at least agree on this. The world hates God. And if the world hates God because they follow the one person that abhors God, then they will do things that will be an absolute affront to the things of God. That's all I know. And so when they do things, even outrageous things, it is par for the course because it's what they're supposed to do. It's what they're supposed to do. And so we have this unfortunate shock. I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't be because, they're brazen with it. But here's a real question. How did they get so brazen with it? How did they get so brazen with it? How? Because they have no fear anymore, right? Because we have completely strayed off of the power of God onto the blessings and all the things and things and things. That has no power at all to it. The world has no reason to fear God. None. Not yet. Because if they look at the church, what are they seeing? Sugar, candy everywhere. Fluff. There's no power left anymore in hardly any of these churches because they don't actually love God. They don't follow God. They want all the perks. So why should anybody outside of God fear anything of what they're seeing? They're not seeing anything. I mean, I'm not saying there's no reason to be afraid. Oh, there's still reason. God is still who he is. I'm not saying God isn't who he is. I'm saying God, yes, God is who he is. But if the world were to look and try and find God through the church today, I can see why they mock. I can see why they mock God. I know everybody has to make their own journey, but we're supposed to be representing him. And we don't do a very good job of representing what he actually is. We do a good job of faking it. And the world will, whether we like it or not, they take hints. They take hints and they watch. They take hints and watch. So there is nothing out there that they should be afraid of. They don't fear him who can kill both body and soul. They don't fear him because he doesn't exist in most churches. What they have in most churches is this Santa Claus. They have Santa Claus in church now. They don't have Christ. God don't exist in most of these churches. They have Santa Claus. They have a gift basket. That's all they got. They got a gift basket. And it's sad. No, you can't quote the word now because it's been messed with. That's what you said. You said, you said the word's been messed with. So why are you quoting the words now? So you only believe, so how do you know that's not tampered with? How do you know that part that you just quoted to me ain't tampered with? No, okay, so answer my question. Did the part you just quote to me, how do you know that's the true part? This. You just told me the word's been tampered with. So which one is it? Is it tempered all the way across? Which one's not? But you can quote, but you won't quote the part that you said the Spirit told you. So if the Spirit told you, is it not in the book? So again, is it what you said is in the book or not? You said that the Spirit says that the cross is cursed. I asked you where. You said you couldn't tell me because the word's been tampered with. Then you come back and you quote to me words from the word you say has been tampered with. Then give me the caveat that A, it's the Spirit that told me. So which is it? Is it in the word that the cross is cursed? Is it in the tampered or untampered word that the cross? Which is it? I just want to know, where is it in the book? Because if it's any of the book, the passage that the fools are telling me to look in, it doesn't say that the cross is cursed. Anyone who tells you that the cross is cursed, they don't know how to read. That's all I know. Because it doesn't say that. I don't know how else to tell you that, but what it says in the book, it is not what people say it says, because it blatantly doesn't say that. Thank you. Right. One who hangs on the person is cursed. I don't know how that's difficult to read, but again, comprehension is very, very lacking in today's society. So I can understand why the dummies don't get that. But they know so much. Okay. Y'all know so much. You refuse to read it, but you know so much. And when you do read it, you don't actually read. You read with what, like I said, you go in there with your own viewpoint and you try and get from it what your viewpoint is. That makes you a dummy. It doesn't make you intelligent. It makes you stupid. And it makes you unequivocally biased. Unequivocally biased. It doesn't say that in the word. Nowhere in the word does it say that. But people like to run with it. Maybe so and so. I don't know. I don't know. One of the those the current iteration of the spiritual people are the ones that like crystals and all that nonsense, and they say they communicate with spirits. That's probably what they are. That's probably what Shady is. Kind of like her counterpart who agrees with her the whole time. Linda, trust me, Melanie has been looking for attention her whole life. She's not going to get the kind that she wants here, though, unfortunately, for her. Then if you know him, go do your own thing. If you know him, go do your own thing. Why are you here? And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna see if I can find you. Let's see if I can find you. Shady's conscience. It sounds like an Eminem kind of song, is what that sounds like. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like an Eminem song. Is that what that is from a Slim Shady song? Let's see what you have going on here. When the Spirit speaks, or you're one of those people. Now I want y'all to see something real quick, okay? And this is the fun part of doing what I do. This is the fun part. This is the fun part. I'm going to show you her channel. Okay, this is her channel. Now watch this real quick, okay? Keep an eye on this. All the spiritual stuff, the spiritist, spirit stuff, all that stuff, right? One of the two witnesses possessed by the living spirit. So she believes that she's one of the prophets that's supposed to be, or the witnesses supposed to be killed in the streets. That's what she believes. Wow. Okay, let's continue. Now, so far so good, right? When the spirit speaks, and then she goes in, don't mess with a son of a bia. Kind of a kind of a switch there. What? You are one of the witnesses of Christ. That's what you said. You said you are one of the two witnesses. Turn the music up. Welcome to hell. The last ride. All love Eminem. Top this, Bia. Fight, fight, fight. Slaughterhouse. Interesting. Miley Cyrus and the tongues and all that stuff. You like that B word, don't you? You like that B word. Happy New Year, guys. I love all of you. Snoop Dogg. Merry Christmas, B word. Slim Shady. But you are one of the witnesses. You're one of the witnesses, the two witnesses that are here to proclaim the way of God. That was you. That's what you said. And I'm supposed to listen to you when you say something that's antithetical to the book. Amazing. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm good. I'm just not going to listen to you. I'm just not listening to you. It's that simple. I keep your spiritual stuff to yourself. I definitely don't want that here. That's weird stuff, man. She has an addiction to Slim Shady. Is he the other witness? It's you and Slim Shady? All right. Hey, to each his own, man. To each his own. Enjoy the Slim Shady life, I guess. I don't. Wow. No. I'm not going to listen to it if you put the title in there with the B word. Why would I? Why would I listen to that? Are you insane? Are you insane? I'm not the one professing to be a direct witness that God sent. I'm not the one proclaiming that. You are. You're telling me God he approves of using that in your title? Huh? God approved that? All right, whatever. So let me ask you one last question, Melanie, before I personally block you. Because apparently you don't know how to take a hint, which probably tells me that your husband has the hell of a time trying to deal with you and shutting you up because you don't know how to shut up. You have one big hole in your face and two minuscule sides on your face, on the side of your head that you call ears that you never execute. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to speak real slow and real remedial for your ignorant, stupid behind to understand. Because I get that you're a dummy and that you don't understand English, but I'm going to try and help you out. Okay? I'll speak in as elementary terms as I possibly can. Did you or did you not call me a child of Satan? Now let's see if you will lie. Did you or did you not call me a child of Satan? Answer the question. Go ahead and answer the question. No, now all of a sudden you can shut up? Maybe I should talk to your husband and have him ask you that question. So don't tell me if you did. So don't tell me that you're not disrespectful. You know exactly how to be disrespectful back to people. Good. So if you can give it and I can give it, you shouldn't have a problem. We're both on equal ground. Okay? Perfect. Awesome. Perfect. So I can insult you all I want because you can do the same thing. Okay? Good. There you go. You see how it's equal ground now? Equal ground. Secondarily, you should be going home to go learn from your husband, unless, of course, he doesn't know God as good as you, right? Biblically, you should be silent and go talk to your husband because you are saved through him. That's what you should be doing. Instead of trying to be combative with a man online. You are married. Why are you trying to combat a man online? Does your husband know you do that? Does your husband know that you stalk men online to talk to them to try and get their attention? Does he know that you're seeking attention from another man? Does he know that? You probably shouldn't be trying to seek another man's attention or validation online. That's where cheating starts. If I were you, I'd take some time off the internet and go spend time with the head of your household, with the head of you, your husband, your head, and learn your scripture through your head, like you're supposed to in the Bible. Isn't that what it says? Isn't that what the book says? You should be learning from your husband. If you have a question, you ask him. Isn't that what the book says? Shouldn't you be doing that right now? I mean, you know the book so well. Maybe go talk to your husband about this. See what he says. Oh, so Paul is again. So Paul is you shouldn't listen to Paul. Gotcha. Okay, good. So don't read the Bible. Everybody understand now? She's selective with the book she wants to follow because it doesn't fit her narrative. You see what I mean? Everybody proves himself every time. It proves them. See? 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 Wow. Ain't that weird? So let me ask you a question. If Paul was a Herodian fraud, why are you telling me to go look into the book he wrote for the answer about the cross being cursed? Huh, dummy? You were the one that gave me what? Galatians 3, right? That was you? You told me to go look into Galatians 3? That was you. But you just called Paul a Herodian fraud. So why am I looking into the fraud's book for the answer you say? God said the cross is cursed. Ain't that weird? Ain't that weird? No. You gave me Galatians. You, Melanie, put Galatians. You did. Galatians 3:13. You typed it in when I never asked you for where it was. You told me. Galatians. So is Paul a fraud or not? That's all I'm asking you. How is he a fraud when you're asking me to go read what he said? No. We ain't running from Paul. You called him a fraud. I'm assuming then that you omit, you don't read Romans either, right? I want to make sure you don't read Romans. Romans is completely out, right? That's what you're saying. I want to make sure that you say with your whole chest that Romans is a lie. No. Is Romans a lie? You don't read his books, but yet still you gave me Galatians. So how did you know what's in there? You apparently read it. Now, so you've just been guilty of lying. You just lied, but you're the one that says you're so in love with God But you lied. You said you do not read his 13 books, but yet still you say in Galatians 3, which is one he wrote, that it's in there. How would you know it's in there if you didn't read it? That makes you a liar. So did you read one of his 13 books? Did you or did you not read the book? Did you read Galatians 3:13? It's a simple question. Did you read Galatians 3:13? Did you? No answer? It's a yes or no. Did you read Galatians 3:13? No, no answer? Your fingers worked just fine just a second ago. Did you read Galatians 3:13? Yes or no? No answer? Transmission problems. No, 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 no. And that's not how you spell majesty. That's majesty. I don't know what word that is, but that's majesty. Majesty is with a J. So again, did you or did you not? A nice deflection, though, by the way. Did you or did you not read Romans 3:13? I read it to write it and include you read it to write. Okay, good. So you read it. Perfect. You said you read it, right? Okay, good. So then what does that mean? That means you lied. That means you lied. You lied. You read a fraud's book, then want to say you didn't read a fraud's book, but want to quote a fraud's book. Okay, great. Great stuff. Amazing. That tells me all I need to know about you, Melanie. Tells me all I need to know about you. It tells me everything I need to know. One very big thing it tells me, your husband will be very happy when he dies. Your husband is probably longing for the grave. Your husband is longing for his exit from this world, having to deal with you. He may not say it, but I bet you he's a very quiet man. I bet you he doesn't have much to say. And I bet you I know why. Because he feels it's pointless talking to a brick wall like yourself. It's pointless talking to a brick wall like yourself. No, that'll be you. That will be you, not me. That will be you. You will be the death of your husband. You are like that wife that Job had, that nagging, condescending, curse God and die kind of wife. That's you. Amazing. Amazing. But yet still you're here. All that, but you're still here. Just amazing. Trust me, he still don't know Jesus if he met you. Trust me, he still don't know Jesus. He still don't know him. He still don't know him. But what you're seeing here, folks, is what? An example. Remember I told you every time an example is needed, one is given? There you have your example. What did I say the example was? People take God, or at least their version of God, as long as it fits them. That is no different than what the people at the Olympics did. No different. We just happen to call it good because we have the word God in it and we think we're following God. But it's no different than what those people did by mocking the so-called Last Supper. That's what they're doing. They do it ignorantly, She's doing it willingly. It is no different. One just justifies it through the auspices of God. The other one, at least they're willingly mocking God. At least they're doing it willingly. As ignorant as it might be because they don't know God, they're still doing it out of an actual belief system that is core to them. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It is all about them. In the church, it's all about them. It's not about God anymore. It's about what they get from God. It's about all the blessings they get from God. All the, you see, and again, see, all the harvest they get, all the stuff. Look again. Oh, he blessed me after I repented. Blessing. It's always about what they get. It is no different than those people in Paris. No different. My question is, why do you have to keep repenting? Why do you keep going back to the same sin to have to keep repenting? Why you keep lying on God? That's interesting to me. But again, like I say, every time we have a topic that needs an example in real time, we get one. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we got one. Melanie served her purpose. She has served her purpose. Exactly what was needed to be seen has been seen. In your case, Melanie, it's what has gone in. I would suggest a diet change. That's the first thing I would do. Watch what goes in because it's also showing on you. The amount of pounds that you have, you probably should change your diet. That's the first thing I would do. Probably changes your husband's diets too. Okay. Because diabetes is a hell of a thing to get, especially in this day and age. You don't want that. Okay. I would suggest that you start exercising, walk a little more, feed your body better so that you don't have to worry about what comes out. Okay. That'll be my suggestion to you. If this child of Satan can give you any advice, let me give you that bit of advice. And secondarily, don't go to channels you know that are openly professing the devil. You will never be able to persuade somebody following the devil to not follow the devil by calling them a devil worshiper. So if your goal is to try and convert my mind, you're not going to succeed right off the top. You've already deterred me from following whatever you're following. Whatever you have following, I don't want anymore because you have completely thrown me off of wanting it. You did not do a very good job of representing the God you say you have. Otherwise, you wouldn't retaliate with the same methods I use that you say are so bad. If my methods are horrible, then you should not have succumbed to them by calling me a child of Satan. If you're trying to win my soul, but that was not your intent. So apparently you can't even live by your own rules. Hey, if I'm a child of Satan, then whatever I do that's antithetical to God shouldn't surprise you, right? Turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. You don't need to name call me back. Turn the other cheek, remember? You're supposed to absolve all of it. Just take it all and take it to God. Remember, that's what you're supposed to do. But you didn't do that. You didn't do that. You retaliated in the flesh. You should probably go repent for that. You should probably go repent. Yeah, you should probably go repent. I if I were you. I mean, I don't need to because I'm a child of Satan, right? That's what you said. So I don't have nothing to repent for. I'm simply doing what I normally do. So if that's what you believe about me, why are you here? First. And secondly, why are you acting like me? That would make you a child of Satan too, Melanie. Just FYI. Thought I'd let you in on that. In either case, um, we will have a yeah, exactly right. Don't stoop to Marlon's. Don't stoop to my level. Rise above. Get on up and be different. Man alive, some of these people. Meanwhile, Melanie ain't doing nothing to promote the name of Christ. She ain't doing nothing. She just goes from page to page to people to just do what she's doing as a woman. Odd. In any case, I will exit with this. Uh, um, so now you're like Jesus? That's crazy. That's quite the stretch you made there. My table isn't flipped, though. My table isn't flipped. Yeah, she does have issues, Desiree. I agree. Oh, trust me, you will be. You will be. You will be. Don't worry. You will be. It is my gift to you. It will be my parting gift to you so that you would never have to see my face again. And you will never have to worry about the Satan in me jumping on you. You won't have to worry about that. Even though I can see that you love being around Satan, I can see that you can't help but be around this particular Satan. What's your attraction to this Satan, by the way? What's your attraction to this Satan? Please tell me. Why are you so stuck on me? That's a genuine question. Why are you so stuck on me? So you're stuck on Judas now? You love Judas? That's so you this is why you come back, because you get name called and you have a fetish for being called names? You come back because you love getting called names? That's I asked the question was why you keep coming back. And you tell me I'm Judas and I name call and degrade. So you love being degraded? That's a sick fetish to have there, Melanie. That's disgusting. Ugh. You like being degraded? Melanie, you got to get some help, girl. You got to get some help. You got to get some help. Please get some help. Stop it. Get some help. Interesting. That's all it is. But again, like I said, we understand. Now, trust me, there's nothing irritate you. You have not begun to irritate me yet. Because don't forget, I will block you and still do your entire show on Friday. So you can't even see it. I will make sure that I do the whole show about you on Friday and you won't be able to see it. Okay? That's my plan. I'm still going to do a whole show about you. Oh, I'm not worked up. This is you think this is me worked up? She thinks I'm worked up. Oh my goodness. I'm worked up. Yeah, you're special. You think I'm worked up. Oh, she'll get the attention, guys. Don't worry. She'll get the attention. I have two plans. Oh, I have plans. I have plans. Man. Anyway, Savage Patriots will be on today at 6:30 Eastern, and we'll be discussing a very crazy. Um, I mean, many of you may have seen it on Too Strong already, but there is a massive allegation against Miss Harris that should be mainstream news by now, but it's not, and is her hand in the trafficking and kidnapping of a little boy and having him been sold into child prostitution. Okay. So she was the catalyst for that. And she set things in motion at the behest of the person who trafficked the child in order to get rid of the father so that she can give access to this individual who was her boss and paid her to get into the child's life with the father no longer being around. And it's a very crazy situation, but we'll be doing a reaction to the video. We will have a guest today, an old friend of mine from TikTok, and Samantha is her name, so she'll be on with us today. She's called a mixed patriot if you ever see her on Instagram or TikTok. She took a little hiatus, but she's back now. But we'll be discussing that whole video and doing our reaction to it. And also, just so you know, there will be some major changes coming to the Savage Patriots as well. So be on the lookout for that. It's all for the better, but it will be some massive shakeup, and it may stress some of you all out. Okay, Michelle, it will be today at 6:30 Eastern. Just go to YouTube and look up Savage Patriots. You'll see us pop right up. It'll be the 3% stars and stuff like that, and you'll see the word Savage Patriots to it. You'll see it there. Trust me, you'll see it there. But we'll have a pretty robust conversation and find out why it is that the mainstream media isn't talking about this particular thing, because it's a big deal. It's a very big deal that they're just not talking about. So there's that, and then tomorrow I have already set up the next 3 days of shows. So if you guys are looking to find out what's coming up, you can just look for it there, and we'll talk more about that. I'm quickly doing a real, before I know what will happen here, before I block them, I'm going to make sure I grab a screenshot of all of Melanie's subscriptions here. Eye of Horus and all kinds of crazy stuff on her page. It's just weird stuff, man. Like, these people are just odd, you know? She subscribes to the Young Turks and all this nonsense, and it's an interesting individual, real interesting individual. I think that should be fine enough there. So we'll talk about Melanie on Friday, and we'll have a robust discussion. But once this live is over, I will be blocking her, and so she won't be able to come in on Friday to watch anything we're saying about her, which is great. We won't have the interruption of that person. So, all right, we'll catch you guys then. So let me help Melanie out real quick. Hang on, guys. Let me help Melanie out. All right, Melanie. Bye. Bye, Melanie. Have a good one. So there. So we'll talk about that. Now tomorrow, I'm going to be talking also about this GoFundMe that's on my page. It is for my nephew and for his daughter. So I'll go over in detail what exactly, and I'll bring up the page so you can see. We'll do all that before we start tomorrow. And again, this is not something that I'm telling you that I would, you know, you need to. This is just like at the end of my show. You do what God has put on your heart to do. If it's nothing and just pray, then it's nothing and just pray. But I wanted to bring it because this it's what I can do. I have a platform and I can at least reach out and ask the body for help. Whatever happens after that happens. But I'll go over it tomorrow with you guys and so on. So we will have a discussion tomorrow. Tomorrow's topic is, let me make sure I bring this up, because you know me, I forget. Oh yeah, so we'll be talking about this preacher that walked out to well, it's interesting. He had an event where he was walking out to They Not Like Us. You know, I know I'll share what that actually breaks down to, what he's actually doing and what it actually means for the people in its hearing. Okay, it's an interesting little. Obviously, I won't be able to play the music with him walking out because it'll be a copyright right off the top. But just know that him and his wife were walking out on stage to have a discussion to They Not Like Us. They Not Like Us. And yeah, it's crazy stuff. So we'll catch up later today, 6:30 Eastern for Savage Patriots, and tomorrow morning for another episode of Straight Talk. This has been interesting, very, very interesting, insightful for me. So it's good stuff for me. I'm enjoying it. Scrolling at the bottom, you know what to do. Take it to God, God only. Let y'all figure that part out. In the meantime and in between time, wisdom calls to you from the streets. So please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight, the dreams for a dream.